So I was out on the hunt last night with everybody's favorite YouTube television nut, and he picked up some more TVs, and so did I. Well, I just picked up this one, and I picked up GE radio. Just more stuff that I don't need or have room for. But we'll go ahead and get into these. Just gonna probably resurrect the radio and clean it up, go into the collection, probably end up giving it to somebody. The TV, assuming the CRT is good, which I don't know, and where this television came from and the other ones that Shango's got, they've all had pretty good CRTs in them, so I'm hoping this one's the same. That I'll probably restore. So we'll probably get into the TV at a later date. Let's get the radio going. Those are always fun. We'll plug it into a dim bulb and see what happens. The dial cord's broken, so I'm gonna fix that. Need some dial cord string. I've got some. I always kind of wanted one of these GEs. They make a few different versions of it. It's Bakelite. It's kind of nice. I'll probably go through and buff out the case. It's got the original knobs. The plastic is still in good shape. This will restore really nicely. It doesn't have any cracks in it. It doesn't have any chips in it. It still has the back. It's broken right here, but I'll probably be able to repair that. But 3 out of the 4 screws are still there, so it's probably not in terrible shape. So let's open it up and see what it is. I imagine it's an AA5, but we'll see. I already noticed there's one broken wire off the loop antenna that goes to the terminal block. I'm not sure exactly where that goes, if it's off the tuning condenser or off the loop. This is an interesting dealio here. The loop, they've got the loop wrapped around like a cardboard. It's like a resin-infused cardboard case. And instead of the flat, how they normally are on like the back, it's wrapped around the other way. So apparently it says to remove these 2 screws, I think, to get it out. So we'll pull those out and see about getting the chassis out. I imagine it's probably bolted on the bottom. Yeah, it is. Oh, you know what? What do we got? GE Radio Model 100. Yep, that's your typical AA5 right there. 12SA7, SG7, Q7, 50L6, so it's octal. 35Z5. Dime a dozen. Lots of these made in many different forms. It's probably a licensed, RCA. There it is. Licensed by RCA. So it's an RCA circuit. It'll probably perform pretty well. Assuming the tubes are good, which most of the time they are. If not, I got boxes of tubes for AA5s. So let's pop it open here. Look at the thickness of the dust on here. You can't even see the loop antenna. It's so covered in dust. I mean, so how does this eject? It says that it comes out, but it's just caught on the petrified cord. What is that? Now, there's something I've never seen before. That is a hornet's nest. Wow. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Yeah, that is a hornet's nest attached to the wires. So this is a really interesting radio, especially with the hornet's nest in there. The speaker is mounted up there. It looks like it's part of the chassis. The chassis is like on an angle. This is like Philco style. Let's make it as wicked looking as we can, but leave the quality out. So I think I'll just pop the chassis out at this point, and we'll deal with that. Well, dare I say this might not be typical, even aside from that. Look at this IF can. Isn't that weird? It looks like it's got tuning condensers on the top, but so there's two of them. That would lead me to believe it's one IF, but I've never seen an IF can like that, and I've worked on a lot of radios. So this will be interesting to figure out. We might have to get a schematic on this. Normally I say I wouldn't need it for an AA5, but this I want to see what's in here. This cardboard electrolytic, I'd put all my money on it that thing is bad because it's cardboard. So I'm sure that it's open. It's well used. You can see the tungsten from the filament is deposited on the tubes. A couple of these tubes. Well, I guess we should probably get that out of there. But that explains all the dirt and mud that's in here. And Hornets just deposited themselves. This is a cool little gimmick. It faces up this way inside the cabinet. Nothing but quality in here. Now somebody rigged this up for external speakers. This is not, I highly doubt that is original. It was tied in right here. I wonder if the speaker's open or something. I don't know why they do that. But it's because it rubs. It rubs, and we can fix that. We can take the felt out of the center. We'll get that a little bit wet. Take the felt out of the center, and we'll put some cardboard around the voice coil or paper, and we'll wet the cone, and it'll recenter it. So we can fix that. Yeah, this is about what I would expect. Those are all bad, all of them. Noma good. So the light bulb is missing, and I have to look at the schematic on this one, but if it's like the other RCAs, if that light bulb is missing, a lot of times that'll cause the rectifier to explode because it's part of the, well, not explode, but the rectifier will fail because it's part of the circuit for it, and that's not a typical 49 or 47 or whatever the bulb is. That's a screw base bulb, which I don't have. Wow. All right. Well, we got rid of that. To lube that up. Here's the other IF can down here. Weirdo cans, man. Those are different, especially for something that's got octal tubes in it, because this is probably, I'll have to look it up, but this is probably mid-40s. I don't know if I've ever seen these before. Well, I can't resist my temptation. Gotta love all this. Explains why it was so heavy, too. We were out last night. When I picked it up, I thought it might have been a power transformer set because it was so heavy. Can't resist my temptation, though. Let's power it up. We'll do the responsible thing and plug it into a dim bulb. But other than that, let's see. I disconnected the speaker because it is connectorized. Let me hook that back up, and then we'll try it out. All right. What's the under-over that the electrolytic is bad? Let's see, that's off. We're down here. We'll start off, 30, 40 volts or something. Through a 60 watt. Let's see what happens, if anything. Bring it up. I'm not going to spend any time. Got the bulb burning just a little bit there. Take it up about 80 volts. We should hear something there. Oh, there we go. We're getting something. Well, it works. Well, that's a disappointment. Dirty volume control. That's wide open though, so it's, you know. Let's see here. Turn the voltage up a little bit. You can see where it's been sitting off. All the dust right here, when you turn it, it goes away. Let's see. The electrolytic is gone in it though. It's not gone, but it's bad. That's why we're hearing so much hum. Yeah. The volume control needs to be sprayed. Maybe we'll do that. That's why it's so scratchy. It's probably KNX. Well, shit. It works. That's disappointing. So much more fun when you can diagnose and repair. But that's okay. We'll clean it up. Probably replace the electrolytic in it. Maybe we'll test the tubes. I don't know. We're going to definitely see what's up with these IF cans. They're pretty cool. And we'll put a new dial string in it. Let me find the schematic on this. I bet Nostalgia Air's got it. So I was playing around with it a little bit off camera, and I noticed the hum would actually go away when I moved the cables on the output transformer. And it's because this is loose. I need to flow some solder into this connector. These are the speaker connectors, the bullet connectors. This one seems like it's okay. I might put a little heat shrink on here, though, to keep it from flexing. But yeah, let me reflow this and hook it back up. And then it sounds like, I can't believe it, but it sounds like this electrolytic is not bad. Chances are I'm going to replace it anyways. I'll probably do that and get the wax caps out of it. I did find the schematic for it. It's on Nostalgia Air. It's very easy to find. It's in the riders. Here's those IF cans. Yeah, they are capacitor tuned, which is what I thought. So this is not a silver mica disease candidate. Doesn't need surgery. So yeah, this is the shape of the IF can. I've just never seen those before. It seems, with no work done to it at all, which I'm sure that it needs caps. I'm sure that all those wax caps are leaky. It performs relatively well. It doesn't sound like the alignment's that far off. It is a little bit because there's no noise in between the stations, but you know, that could just be low B plus, you know, going through a 60 watt bulb. I'm going to go through this thing and probably start replacing some of the caps and stuff. I think because the case is in such nice shape, I think it's worth recapping this thing. There's not a lot of room in this chassis, so I'm not positive what I'm going to do about the electrolytic. These cardboard ones do fail, so I am going to change it, unlike that Zenith we worked on last week, where I replaced it, or excuse me, where I left it in that Zenith because it's an aluminum can. It looked like it was a replacement. But there's just no room under here. You can see this is where the cap is right here. Let me look at the schematic and see how many sections, but it's 3 sections. So that's going to be very challenging to do anything with in here. This wax cap right here, the end of it's popped out, so it's bad. I'm not sure what it's for, but it's no good. Some of these mica caps are not actually mica. I've found in the past, I had one radio where the volume was all over the place. It was because one of these was actually paper, and it was the AGC cap. So I've just kind of gotten into a habit of replacing these. Okay, so definitely the hum went away when I reflowed those solder joints for the connector and the speaker. So I'm getting a better idea. This thing's pretty deaf. This is KNX, so we know KNX is super strong. And there should be like, I think 1100 or 1110 right up here. And there's just nothing there. I mean, it's pretty bad. Should hear 1260 right up in this area, and this is clocked. I've got the antenna biased the right way to pick it up, and there's just nothing there. I went right past it. Oh, wait, nope. There it is, but listen to it howl. That's because the AGC filter's bad. So this thing needs a complete recap. So we might as well, I'm not going to play with it. I'm not going to play with the alignment or anything. We're just going to go ahead and recap this thing, because why not? I got tons of film capacitors we can put in it. I'm going to leave the electrolytic alone right now because it's not bad, which is just, you know, every time I think that something's going to be bad in one of these things, it's not. But usually these cardboard ones are no good, and there's no evidence that it's bad. So it might fail, but that's okay. So before we go and bulk recap this, I'm willing to bet that's probably a bad AVC filter, which is this guy right here. That's probably what's wrong. So we're going to change this 0.005. We'll put a 0047 in there. We'll check this 2.2 meg as well. Usually the higher values don't go up too high, but it probably doesn't matter. Hell, I probably shouldn't even check it. Who cares? So yeah, we'll change that before we bulk recap it. We'll just change that one and see if the squealing goes away. That's usually what it is. And that is this cap right here. I'll replace just the AVC cap. Just out of curiosity. This is just an experiment. It needs a total recap, obviously. I still definitely need to change the grid coupling cap for the audio output tube. Those are always bad. But let's fire it up and see. See if it makes any difference. This is just a curiosity thing, and then I'm going to go ahead and bulk it. Alright, see where it was 1260. Turn off this soldering iron. That always makes a lot of noise. Nope. It's got another bad cap somewhere that's causing that. Thought maybe that was it, but listen to that thing howl. Alright, and it's changing tone, which that's because something's heating up somewhere. Could be a tube. Doubt it, though. So, you know, as I'm going through this thing and recapping, I decided what the heck I'm going to change, because a couple of mica caps I should change, and I was suspicious of this one that was here, and also there was another one that was here. They're both on the audio detector side. One was 330, one was supposed to be 150 according to the schematic, and you know, they say mica caps never go bad, but The one that's 330 supposed to be 330 is 278. That's what it's testing at, and that's with it directly in the M tester. And the other one that was supposed to be 150 was like 120. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about those small values, it makes a big difference in the performance. Yeah, it'll work. It's just not going to be quite right. So I didn't have any 150s, so I had to put a 20 and a 130 together here. But I did have a 330 that's going to go down in here. So figured I might as well change them. I have them. I feel so much better now that I have satisfied my millennial capacitor changing cravings. All the Mica capacitors were off value. Depending on where it is in the circuit, it matters more than others, but they were off kind of substantially. So some of them were off by 20, 30 picofarads. So anyways, I changed them all. I don't normally change Mica caps. I was just in the mood this morning. So we have the appropriate safety cap over here. We've replaced the rest with film caps. So it's had an entire recap. I spot checked some of the resistors. They're all pretty close. Close enough for one of these. So let's flip it back over. We'll hook the speaker up and give it a shot. All right, here we go. I got the Variac turned down. Turn on the ISO, and let's just bring it up and make sure the switch is on. And it is. Not seeing any shorts immediately. Take it up about 80. Let's see what we get, if anything. See if I killed it, which is likely. There we go. We got soldering iron noise or something. Well, I definitely got something screwed up. Check that out. That's cool. Turn the volume all the way down. And we got filter hum or audio hum. I screwed something up. So I think I found my mistake. Well, first of all, I forgot to put a cap in, but that won't make it do what it's doing probably. I got to looking at the volume control, and I was thinking about it, in troubleshooting, stepping on my own foot here. When the volume's down, it's louder. When it's up, the buzz is less. So I said, well, it's something when this resistance is lower here. I got to looking at this cap, and I think this is 50L6, so this is going to be pin 7 right here. That's a filament. I'm looking at it, and that's a filament, and this cap is tied into the filament. It's supposed to be on 8. It should be on the plate. So I got to move this over to here. That's what I screwed up. All right, so shall we try that again now that I've had my stupidity moment for the morning, or at least one of them. So flip this guy on and see. We'll take it up about 80 volts there. Bulb came up and down. Let's see if we get anything this time, or if I just move on to the next mistake that I made. This is what happens when I get into a hurry, and I get into a hurry when I do this stuff because I just want to do it. Dig right in. Patience is not one of my virtues. Well, that's certainly better. Turn that off. There we go.
Save it. Here's the savings and call it a day. But this family went 30 or fixed into a new 30.
Pretty certain that electrolytic is going. I'm hearing a little bit, just a little bit. This thing's probably going, and I probably should replace it, but it's a pain in the ass, and it's not one that's easily restuffed. But we found our mistake. That's the important thing, is that we did troubleshooting, even if it was self-inflicted, and fixed it. It's still deaf, and it needs to be aligned because I changed mica caps. So maybe we align it, because there's no reason that I can't do that now. So let's get the signal generator warmed up here, and we'll get that hooked up and do an alignment. All right, yeah, this thing's pretty deaf. I'm at minus 17 dB. It's just that's wide open, and this mic isn't going to pick it up from this angle. But let's see if we touch this up a little bit. We'll leave it there. Usually these tuning capacitors, I mean, they're nice because they don't get silver mica disease, but they're usually off. So this one was off for sure. Not much. Oh yeah. There we go. That's off. Nice defined peak. Turn it down a little bit. Holy cow, yeah. There's some kind of issue here. I got to look at the tuning cap on this. Try and do it wide open, but you should do it closed. Pretty much peaked out there. I'm down at like 37 dB. Yeah, it's pretty good. It woke it up quite a bit. Alright, that's enough of that. I don't know why it's squealing down here, though. I don't know what that's about. I have to figure that out. Definitely woke it up, though. Something's still not right, though. There's squealing going on here. Let me play with these trimmers on the tuning cap. I figured out what the squealing was. It took me about 30 seconds to realize. I always forget to turn off this power supply. It's for my 2-meter rig that I've got here in the shop. And that thing interferes like crazy with AM radios because it's a switch mode power supply. So anyways, it's a lot better without that on. So I might go back and touch up the alignment again without that interfering. And the electrolytic is failing. It's starting to get some hum in it, and it's warm. So I expected that would probably fail, so I'm probably going to have to put some electrolytics in it now. But it aligned right up, and it sounds pretty good now that I don't have interference. It's getting worse, though. It's definitely getting some hum in it that it didn't have. So I started recapping the electrolytics in this, and this is the first one. It's a 3-section. It's not marked. The symbols are on the bottom, but the can, it's either worn off or it's not there. I don't know, but the schematic, it's a 40, 50, and 50, so it's going to get 347s, which is fine. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not completely open, but the ESR is 11 at 52 microfarads. It should be 0 at that high of a value, so yeah, it's dead. So I went ahead and just jumped way ahead because even I was getting bored with my video and I haven't even watched it yet. So I replaced the dial cord. The speaker, I think I might have showed it in a video a long time ago, but the speaker, I took the dust cap off and put some paper. You just take some regular white paper. I don't know if those pieces are still around here. Anyways, you just take some strips of paper and push it in around the voice coil, between the voice coil and the magnet core. And then you take an acid brush or a paintbrush and wet the speaker down, let it soak up some water. That'll kind of relieve the cone. It'll recenter that. It'll basically, if the voice coil is pushing on one side, when you put the paper in there, it shoves it over, and then when you wet the cone down, the cone relaxes. And then when it dries, it hardens back up. So that's all I did. Now the speaker doesn't rub or anything like that. I was going to go through and polish up the cabinet. I did clean it a little bit, but it does. I did find a crack once I got the dirt off of it. I don't feel like putting a bunch of time into. Look, I've restored radios. I've completely restored some radios before, and if I restored every radio that I had, it would, it wouldn't be worth my time. I have so many radios now that it's not worth it. It's not, unless it's something really special to me, and this isn't. This is just another AA5. So I just cleaned it up a little bit. I glued the grill cloth back in because it was coming out. Just cleaned the glass a little, and it's a decent performer. No hum, no buzz or anything now since I changed the electrolytics. There's KNX, just blows everything away. Let's see if we can have to turn it this way. There it is. So there's a sign that your radio works pretty good here in LA, as if you can pick up what used to be K-Surf or K-Mozart. Now it broadcasts from North Valley area, and it's not very powerful. Decent. It performs like an AA5 performs. It's. Oh, by the way, the light. I've got my C7 bulbs floating around from the Christmas lights. I just took a white one, and it's a candelabra base. I did take a look at the schematic. It just uses a 10 watt, so I put a 7 in there. Whatever, it's fine. It's close enough. It does need to have that bulb in there. It will cremate the rectifier tube eventually. The filaments. It's part of the filament circuit for these radios. A lot of them are that way. So you have to think about that. If that bulb's burned out, you can't just say, "Oh, it's just a burnout bulb." It's actually part of the circuit. So, anyways, it's kind of just a boring one, I guess. Really, the only problems I solved were the ones that I created. But there's your Hornet infused All-American 5 resurrection for the day.